Hey there, Golden Years Balance family. Have you ever walked into your home and felt overwhelmed by the clutter? It's not just the physical stuff that weighs you down, it's the energy and stress that come with it. If you're an older woman looking to reclaim peace in your home and life, then this video is just for you. Today, we're diving deep into the 8 unique items you should consider decluttering to create a peaceful and calming space. Trust me, this is more than just tidying up. It's about your mental and emotional well-being too. By the end of this video, I'm sure you'll feel lighter, calmer, and ready to take action. Stick with me, and I promise you won't regret it. Before we jump into it, hit that like button and share in the comments. What's the hardest thing for you to let go of? Let's talk about it. Number 1, gifts that carry guilt. We've all been there. You're holding on to a gift not because you love it, but because you feel obligated to keep it. Maybe it's a beautiful scarf that your friend gave you, even though it's not quite your style, or a decorative vase from your daughter, one that's been sitting on your shelf gathering dust. You keep it, but every time you see it, you don't feel joy. Instead, you feel guilt. Why? Because you think you should keep it. After all, it was a gift, right? How could you possibly part with it when the person who gave it to you put so much thought into it? Ladies, let me tell you, guilt has no place in your peaceful home. A gift should never be a burden. A gift, no matter how well-intentioned, should bring you happiness, not stress. And if it no longer serves a positive purpose in your life, it's okay to let it go. This isn't about being ungrateful. It's about honoring your emotional well-being and creating a space where you feel at peace. I once had an old handbag that my late husband gave me. It was a beautiful, thoughtful gift. But over the years, I found myself growing more and more attached to the memories it held than the actual item itself. Every time I opened the closet and saw it, I felt a pang of sadness, as though I was clutching onto the past in a way that prevented me from fully embracing the present. The memories of him were precious, but I realized that holding onto the bag was only keeping me in a moment I needed to release. It wasn't easy to let go of the handbag. There was a sense of guilt in parting with something that had such emotional significance. But I soon came to understand that the value of the gesture, of the love and care behind the gift, wasn't in the physical object. It was in the shared moments, the connection, and the feelings it represented. Letting go of the bag didn't mean I was letting go of my husband. It meant I was making space in my life for new memories, new experiences, and more room for peace. So I donated it. And with that, I felt lighter. I knew that the memory of the gesture would stay with me untouched by guilt or sorrow because it lived in my heart, not in the closet. Letting go of the physical object allowed me to keep the emotional connection without feeling weighed down by it. And that's the lesson, isn't it? Sometimes the hardest part is realizing that things don't define us, nor do they hold the key to our happiness. The relationships and moments behind the gifts are what matter most. When we choose to keep only the things that bring us joy, peace, and gratitude, we free ourselves from the emotional clutter that doesn't serve us. Ladies, let's not hold on to things that no longer serve us. Let them go and make space for joy and peace. Your home should be a sanctuary, a place where you can relax, breathe, and be yourself without the burden of guilt hanging over you. Gift giving is a beautiful tradition, but it's also important to remember that it's the thought and love behind the gift that matters, not the object itself. So if it no longer brings you happiness, it's okay to let go. Trust that the love and memories will remain with you, regardless of the physical items in your life. Number 2, high maintenance decor, simplifying for joy. Take a moment to look around your home. How many items do you see that require constant care and attention? Perhaps you have delicate figurines that need frequent dusting, or ornate chandeliers that gather dust and take forever to clean. Or maybe, like me, you have heavy curtains that rarely get opened but somehow manage to attract every speck of dust in the room. These items may seem beautiful and elegant, but the amount of time and effort spent maintaining them can quickly overshadow their aesthetic value. I can certainly relate to this. I had a stunning antique lace tablecloth that had been passed down through generations in my family. It was a piece of art with intricate patterns that told me of craftsmanship from years ago. Whenever I used it, it added such a charming touch to the dining table, making any occasion feel special. But the cost of maintaining it was not as glamorous as its appearance. Every time I wanted to use the tablecloth, I had to carefully hand wash it, making sure not to damage the fragile lace. Then, after washing, I had to store it in a specific way to prevent it from yellowing or getting ruined by exposure to light. It was exhausting, and in the back of my mind, I couldn't help but wonder if it was really worth all that effort. One day, after yet another round of careful cleaning and folding, I asked myself, is this truly worth the time and energy I'm investing? The answer was clear. It wasn't. While the tablecloth held sentimental value, the joy it brought didn't outweigh the stress and effort of maintaining it. The thought of spending hours maintaining a single piece of decor made me realize that my home, which should be a sanctuary, was instead filled with items that required constant care and attention. So I made the difficult decision to let go. I carefully packed away the tablecloth, and as I did, I felt a sense of relief. It was a moment of release, of freeing myself from the burden of high-maintenance decor. I realized that true beauty doesn't always have to come with a heavy price tag of time and energy. Sometimes simplicity can bring just as much, if not more, joy. If you look around your home and find that something requires more effort than the happiness it brings, it might be time to reconsider its place in your life. We often hold on to items because they hold sentimental value or seem to embody a certain level of elegance. But the reality is that they can quickly become sources of stress and frustration. Letting go of high-maintenance decor doesn't mean you're abandoning beauty or tradition. It simply means choosing peace and ease over unnecessary complications. Letting go can open up space for new, more manageable pieces that bring you joy without the upkeep. It allows you to focus on what truly matters in your home, items that inspire positivity, warmth, and ease. A beautiful, clutter-free space that's easier to maintain can bring a sense of calm and contentment, making it a true reflection of the peace and joy you deserve. So, next time you find yourself dusting, cleaning, or fretting over a piece of decor, ask yourself, is it really worth the effort? If the answer is no, then it's time to release it and create room for more fulfilling moments. Number 3, expired sentimentality. As we move through life, we accumulate sentimental items, tokens of our past, physical reminders of people, places, and moments that once held meaning. Old birthday cards, stacks of letters, boxes filled with photographs from years ago. These things can evoke fond memories, but they can also be more of a burden than a blessing. Over time, they lose their spark, becoming clutter rather than cherished keepsakes. I remember having a box full of old cards, many of which were from friends I hadn't spoken to in years. When I opened that box, it didn't bring the warmth of nostalgia I expected. Instead, I felt a sense of overwhelm. These items, once symbolic of happy times, had become a reminder of how much time had passed and how disconnected I had become from some of the people who had once been a big part of my life. The memories associated with them weren't bad, but they weren't alive anymore either. They were trapped in time, and I was letting them take up space, both physically and emotionally. It's easy to get attached to sentimental things. We hold on to them because they remind us of a particular moment, a feeling, or a relationship. We may even feel guilty letting go of them, as though we're abandoning a part of ourselves. But the truth is, these objects don't necessarily honour the memories. They can often weigh us down. If something is truly special, it will live on in our hearts, not buried under piles of paper. And by keeping too many things, we risk losing sight of the present moment. Here's a tip. Keep only the truly special items, the ones that bring genuine joy and meaning into your life today. When going through old cards, letters, or photos, ask yourself, does this spark joy? Does this memory still hold significance for me? Or is it just a relic of a past that no longer serves me? If the answer is no, then it's time to let it go. A great way to preserve memories without keeping the physical clutter is to digitize them. Scan your photos and store them digitally. You can organize them into albums, making them easy to access and share without the need for bulky boxes or storage bins. Similarly, take pictures of letters, notes, or postcards you want to remember. This way, you can hold on to the essence of the memory without holding on to the item itself. Decluttering these sentimental items doesn't mean you're forgetting about the people or moments they represent. In fact, it can make space for more meaningful connections. When you free yourself from the weight of expired sentimentality, you create room for fresh, vibrant memories, ones that are still alive and growing in your life. So let go of what no longer serves you and make space for the new. Embrace the memories that continue to spark joy and let go of the ones that are simply taking up space. By doing so, you're not just decluttering your physical space, but also freeing your mind and heart to focus on what truly matters. Number 4, one-day clothes. We all have them, those one-day clothes, the ones tucked away in the back of our closets, waiting for an event that may never happen. These are the pieces we bought with high hopes, thinking, I'll wear this to that special occasion one day. But let's be honest with ourselves. How often do those occasions actually come around? Maybe it's that extravagant cocktail dress you bought years ago because it was on sale and you thought you'd wear it to a wedding, a gala, or some fancy dinner party. You've held on to it, despite it gathering dust, because you're convinced that one day it will be the perfect moment. Or perhaps it's the high heels you bought because they looked stunning in the store and the price tag made you feel like you had to have them. Yet every time you try to wear them, you end up limping by the end of the night because they're just not practical, not comfortable, and definitely not worth the pain. We often attach sentimental value to clothes we've never actually worn. The idea of spending money on something just for that one occasion can feel like an investment in our future selves. But the truth is, these clothes serve no real purpose when they're just taking up space. So why do we hold on to them? It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that we might need them one day, even if that day never comes. And let's not forget how they make us feel. When we see them sitting there unused, it's as though we're quietly telling ourselves that we haven't lived up to some ideal version of our lives, the one where we wear the fancy dress, attend the swanky party, and have a reason to wear those painful but expensive heels. Ladies, it's time to face the facts. If you haven't worn it in 2 years, chances are you won't. And even if you do, would you really want to wear something that no longer fits your current style, body, or lifestyle? The dress may no longer be flattering, or the shoes may no longer match your taste. So why continue holding on to them? It's time to let go of the one-day clothes and free yourself from the pressure to live up to a fantasy version of your life. Letting go of these items isn't just about decluttering your wardrobe. It's about releasing the mental and emotional clutter that goes along with them. Holding on to clothes that no longer serve you or your current life only keeps you tied to a version of yourself that doesn't exist anymore. You deserve clothes that make you feel good right now, not a decade-old outfit that only reminds you of an event that never came. When you clear out your closet, you create space, not just for new clothes, but for a new mindset. You're saying goodbye to the unnecessary stress of keeping something that doesn't serve you. You're embracing the life you have now and dressing for who you are today. So, go ahead, let go of the one-day clothes and make room for a wardrobe that truly reflects your present self. Number 5, excess kitchen gadgets, a common culprit of clutter. Our kitchens are often packed with gadgets we thought would make cooking easier, only to realise that over time, they end up cluttering our precious counter space. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of the latest kitchen trends or the promise of a tool that will save time and effort. However, many of these gadgets end up as little more than dust collectors. The juicer you bought after a health kick but used only once, or the bread maker you thought would revolutionise your mornings, but now it sits untouched in the corner. We've all been there at some point. I, for one, once had 3 sets of measuring cups, despite using only 1 set on a regular basis. The problem with excess gadgets is that they don't just take up physical space, they also occupy mental space. Each item represents a decision to be made. Should I use this? Do I need it? Where should I store it? This mental load can make cooking feel like more of a chore than a creative outlet. And that's not what we want in a kitchen. The first step in reducing kitchen gadget clutter is to assess the items you have. Ask yourself, when was the last time I used this? If the answer is anything more than a year ago, it's time to let it go. Many gadgets are one-trick ponies designed for a specific purpose that might only come around once in a while. For example, a popcorn maker may seem fun in the moment, but it only serves one function. The same goes for specialized appliances like an egg cooker or a smoothie blender you've replaced with your regular blender. Even tools like a garlic press, which seemed like a genius idea until you realized a simple knife does the job just as well, can end up just taking up space. One of the biggest challenges is overcoming the guilt of parting with these items. We often hold on to things because we feel we've invested money or time in them, or we feel they might come in handy in the future. However, it's important to remember that a well-organized kitchen actually saves you time, energy, and stress. A cluttered kitchen with gadgets strewn everywhere makes cooking feel like a daunting task. It can be hard to find the right tool when you need it, or even harder to stay inspired to cook in the first place. A clear, tidy space, on the other hand, is calming and welcoming. It allows you to think clearly, move efficiently, and focus on the art of cooking. Here's the rule: used it in over a year, let it go. By decluttering your kitchen, you are also decluttering your mind. The fewer distractions you have, the more room there is for creativity and joy. When your kitchen is clean and organized, you'll find that cooking becomes a pleasant and rewarding activity rather than something to be dreaded. You'll also feel empowered by your ability to let go of unnecessary items and create space for the tools that truly serve you. In the end, having fewer, more useful gadgets doesn't mean you're sacrificing functionality. It means you're making a conscious choice to create an environment that supports your cooking goals. It's time to let go of the gadgets you never use and embrace the simplicity and beauty of a kitchen that works for you, not against you. Number 6, outdated paperwork and mail. Outdated paperwork and mail are often the types of clutter that sneak up on us without us even realizing it. Over time, old receipts, insurance forms, bank statements, and unopened bills tend to pile up, filling our drawers, cabinets, and desks with papers that serve little to no purpose anymore. They may seem harmless at first, just a few papers here and there, but over time they can accumulate into a mountain of unnecessary clutter. It becomes easy to ignore them, but this clutter can have a profound impact on our mental and emotional well-being. I remember a time when I had an entire filing cabinet that was filled with old bills, receipts, and papers I had long since forgotten. I'd shove things into the drawer, telling myself that I'd go through them later. But the truth was, I never did. Every time I opened the drawer, a wave of anxiety hit me. I knew I was harboring an excess of paper, and I knew that many of the documents inside were of no use to me anymore. But still, I couldn't bring myself to throw them away. There was always the thought in the back of my mind, what if I need this one day? Yet, in reality, most of those papers were long outdated and irrelevant. The stress that comes with having cluttered spaces goes beyond just the physical mess. The constant reminder of unfinished tasks and accumulated items that serve no purpose weighs on our minds. This kind of clutter can make us feel overwhelmed, anxious, and even powerless. The clutter in our homes often reflects the clutter in our minds. When our environment is filled with unnecessary things, it can be difficult to focus, be productive, or feel at peace. So, what's the solution? The first step is to recognize that if something isn't important, it's just taking up space in your home and space in your mind. Tossing outdated paperwork and unopened mail isn't as daunting as it seems once you break it down. Start small. Begin by going through one pile at a time, setting aside what you really need and letting go of the rest. Items like old receipts that are past their return date, insurance papers that no longer apply, and unopened mail that's just adding to the pile can be easily discarded. For sensitive documents, shredding is always the best option to ensure your personal information stays secure. For the papers that do need to be kept, organization is key. Invest in filing systems, labeled folders, or even digital tools to store important documents in a way that's easy to access when needed. This way, you'll be able to locate essential information quickly, and you won't have to sift through a chaotic mess every time you need something. It's about creating a system that works for you and maintaining it regularly. When you start organizing your space and minimizing the paperwork clutter, you'll notice an immediate sense of relief. Your home will feel more open and peaceful, and you'll have a clearer mind. A clutter-free home isn't just about physical space. It's about creating a sense of calm and clarity. And the first step toward that is often just letting go of all the unnecessary things that no longer serve you. In conclusion, the clutter caused by outdated paperwork and mail can be a source of stress and anxiety, but it doesn't have to be. By regularly decluttering, organizing, and simplifying, you'll not only make your physical environment more peaceful, but also clear your mind of unnecessary mental clutter. Remember, a clutter-free home starts with a clutter-free mind. Number 7, unused furniture. Unused furniture often accumulates in our homes, not because we intentionally choose to keep it, but because of habit or emotional attachment. Over time, we may grow fond of certain pieces, remembering their history or the memories they've brought into our lives. For instance, a couch that's been with us through various life stages, or a coffee table inherited from a family member, might hold sentimental value. Yet, the truth is that these items may not necessarily be serving a functional purpose in our lives anymore. In some cases, we simply get used to having them around, and we may not even realize they're taking up valuable space. For example, I once had an armchair in my bedroom that had become more of a decorative item than anything functional. No one ever sat in it, and it didn't really contribute to the overall ambience of the room. However, I held on to it because I had it for years and it felt like something I should keep. It wasn't until I took a step back and analysed my living space that I realised this chair, despite its sentimental value, was just occupying a corner of the room without adding any real benefit to my day-to-day life. This realisation sparked a small transformation in my approach to furniture. I started to evaluate every piece more critically. Does it truly enhance the functionality of the space? Does it make me feel comfortable, relaxed, or happy? Or is it just there because I've gotten used to it? By asking myself these questions, I began to shed unnecessary items that were taking up space in my home, both physically and mentally. When you remove furniture that no longer serves you, it can feel like a weight has been lifted. The space becomes freer, lighter, and more open. In a way, it's a form of decluttering that not only makes your home feel more organized, but also encourages a clearer, more intentional way of living. You begin to surround yourself only with items that add value, comfort, and beauty to your life. For example, after I let go of that armchair, I found that my bedroom felt larger and more serene. The space felt less crowded, and I felt more at ease in it. What was once a small, cluttered room now felt more expansive and inviting. Removing furniture can open up possibilities for creating more functional spaces, allowing for better circulation, the addition of new, more useful items, or simply making the environment more visually appealing. However, it's not just about discarding things thoughtlessly. It's about thoughtfully considering whether each piece aligns with your current needs and lifestyle. This doesn't mean you need to get rid of everything that has sentimental value. It's about finding the balance. Maybe an old dresser from a relative can be repurposed or upcycled into something new, or perhaps a piece of art you no longer love can be passed on to someone who will appreciate it. In the end, the key is to ask yourself, does this item truly add value to my life, or is it just taking up space? If it doesn't serve you anymore, let it go. You'll be surprised at how much more enjoyable and comfortable your home can feel when it's filled only with things that you truly need or love. Number 8, negative energy objects. Negative energy objects are more than just physical items. They are reminders of emotional baggage that can weigh down your spirit. Often, these objects are tied to past experiences that no longer serve you, yet they linger in your space, subtly influencing your mood and energy. These items can be anything from old gifts from an ex-partner, letters or photos from difficult times, or possessions that remind you of past failures. They have an energetic imprint that can affect your subconscious mind, even if you aren't consciously aware of it. I vividly remember an old notebook I kept from my working years. It was filled with to-do lists, tasks I never completed, and goals I failed to achieve. Each time I saw that notebook, I felt a wave of anxiety wash over me. It wasn't just a simple object, it became a symbol of unfinished business, unfulfilled potential, and the stress that came with my past job. The mere sight of it triggered those emotions, and it was impossible to feel relaxed or at ease when it was around. It was only when I decided to part with it that I realized the deep impact this object had on my mental state. Letting go of that notebook felt like releasing a weight that had been holding me back, allowing space for a sense of relief and tranquility to settle in my home. The same principle applies to other objects in your home that might carry negative energy. When you walk through your space, take a moment to notice the items that evoke certain emotions. If you find yourself feeling upset, anxious, or sad when you look at something, ask yourself if it truly brings any value to your life now. Does it serve a purpose in your present or future, or is it simply a relic from a time that no longer aligns with who you are or who you want to be? Objects tied to negative memories are like anchors, keeping you attached to the past and preventing you from moving forward. By letting go of these objects, you're not just clearing physical clutter, you're creating a shift in your emotional and energetic landscape. Your home should be a sanctuary, a place where you can unwind, recharge, and find peace. When your surroundings are filled with items that uplift, inspire, and bring joy, it's much easier to cultivate a positive mindset. On the other hand, cluttered spaces filled with items that carry negative energy only serve to drain your vitality. This process of letting go can be challenging, especially if you feel attached to certain items. But remember, letting go doesn't mean you're dismissing the past or the memories associated with these objects. It's about freeing yourself from the emotional weight they carry and creating a space that supports your growth and well-being. Each item you release opens up room for new experiences, new memories, and a more positive energy to flow into your life. So, take a close look at the objects in your home. Are there any that no longer align with your current self? Are there things that make you feel tense, upset, or weighed down? Let them go. The energy of your home will shift, and with it, the energy within you will also transform, allowing for peace, happiness, and positive growth to flourish. Ladies, decluttering isn't just about tidying up your physical space. It's about crafting an environment that nurtures your well-being, supports your mental peace, and reflects the life you want to live. Every item you release is an opportunity to make room for positive energy, meaningful connections, and a clearer mindset. By letting go of unnecessary possessions, emotional baggage, and things that no longer serve your purpose, you are essentially decluttering your mind as well as your home. This process doesn't just free up space, it allows you to make intentional choices about what you surround yourself with and how you want to feel every day. Clutter, whether physical or emotional, can weigh heavily on our minds, creating distractions and stress. It can be easy to hold on to things out of habit or sentimentality, but remember, true peace comes from knowing what to keep and what to release. And when we let go of things that no longer contribute to our happiness, we invite more clarity, calm, and joy into our lives. Decluttering doesn't mean getting rid of everything. It means getting rid of what doesn't serve you, leaving space for what truly brings value. I challenge you today to take that first step. Start small, one item at a time, and celebrate each decision you make. It's not about perfection, but progress. Each thing you let go of isn't a loss. It's a gain in space, peace, and freedom. So, what's the first thing you're going to declutter? Let me know in the comments below and share your experience with us. If this video resonated with you and helped spark a desire to declutter your life, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Golden Years Balance for more tips on cultivating a peaceful, fulfilling life. Make sure to hit the notification bell so you never miss an update on how to enhance your well-being in your golden years. Thank you for joining us today. Take care and enjoy your journey towards a simpler, more serene life.